Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Cronkey.
Martin Cronkey becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the Radical Challenge live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Mark Tranter, bringing you the action for this week 2 of the season. And hopefully you've had a very good Christmas period. But we're back racing once again. We were planning on racing on Friday, but plans got in the way. But we're very happy to bring you this on this Sunday evening. Mark, last week we saw a brilliant race at the Classic Silverstone, the 2008 layout, of course. However, we are back to a more up-to-date circuit here at Spa, and it is a real classic and a real proper circuit for these cars. We're going to see a lot of slipstream, and we're really going to see these guys be able to really show the potential of the downforce in these extremely fast SRH.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a track where you really want to get in the slipstream and get a toe down the Kemmel Straight and fight into that chicane. I've raced here myself in these cars, and yeah, it's a really challenging track, but really rewarding as well.
Absolutely, the drivers coming in their 8-minute qualifying session. Of course, all the drivers by themselves. This is the official Radical Racing Challenge. So this is the official top split, and I believe a terrific turnout. 7 splits for this race. We had over 200 drivers sign up, and it's fantastic to see that so strong. Big thanks to everyone who has donated the money to get this stream up and running. We do appreciate it, and hopefully give you a decent show tonight. Well, that's going to be down to the drivers. They are going to be able to put up a good performance, because we've got some terrific drivers out on circuit tonight. These are the very best in this radical. Heck, the very best in iRacing, as we see a driver spin. Forget about that, but it is the very best on iRacing. They're pushing the limits. That's what they're doing at the moment. And the level of joy, I'm sure, is going to be very high for tonight's meeting. Of course, this is important as well for the championship. If you score big here, then this is going to be by far the most amount of points you can score in the official week. So a big week here, and you could be getting probably more than 200 points, which would be an absolute massive amount. and would be very good for your championship pace. 4.7 thousand. iRacing is average. We're going to see drivers 7,000, 8,000 iRacing out on circuit. There are 23 drivers out on track as few of the drivers just setting up their lap time. You've got to make sure that you get round this circuit. You can't waste too much time, but it is such a long lap. The first few times coming in, it is Pablo Lopez at the moment with a 2-minute 30. Very similar times to the GTE cars for these machines. Certainly their strengths and differences are maybe a little bit different, but it is they are quite evenly matched as Baba moves up into second place. Joe, who we didn't see last week, that is a strong time, 2/10 of a second of pole position. And it seems to say the first 14 drives all across the line already. See the intervals between each of the drivers around such a long circuit. It is minuscule. Kane Halibut as well, still out on the circuit, veteran in this car. He's actually just gone through the third sector and will be approaching the line pretty soon for himself. As we see the onboard camera here, as Alex tries to navigate these middle parts of the circuit. Sure he did pick up one exit on the outside of No Name, so easy to do. So guys will be getting disqualified if they get to 17 instance. Halibut is up to something, but no one gets close, or not close enough at least, to Pablo Lopez. Then they've still got their second laps to go, and Halibut just about have enough time to set that lap time. This line with about to miss that, that's what he will hoping will be his second lap time. It will be pretty much almost certainly going to see improvements on his second lap as the Jazz can push it a little bit harder. We're seeing he came in with a very strong third sector at the moment. His sector's come up pretty quick. There's certainly scope for drivers to challenge Lopez. Some strong times being put in by Ming, and Lopez himself improving at the moment. And here is Ming. He's going to try to get onto the second row of the grid, or the first row of the grid if he possibly can. Now the final chicane, puts the foot down, keeps it within the track limits. And what can Ming do? It was a very good lap. It's not good enough for pole position, but if he gets second place on the grid, I think the 5.5k I-rated driver will be very pleased with that. Car number 7 takes their seating out there. So as you can see there, Sorini leading up into 5th place, way outperforming himself there to move up into 5th position. Castle's back into the pits, Cash back into the pits. The car number 1 out there is Adrius Valentijas, who unfortunately isn't in the session at the moment. Potentially a lots of I-rating lost. Driving came in as one of the favourites. Halliburton still on his lap. Now this is going to be tight if he can get pole position. It's going to be tight if he can get to the line in time. So we've only got 25 seconds. And iRacing is pretty strict with that. Kainen moves up into 6th position. Only 1,000 short of Savini. But Halliburton is already in a good position. 3rd place might well be the place to start anyway, with the toe up the Kemmel straight. But Halliburton wants that pole position. Only personal best, no purple sectors so far on this lap. He approaches the line with 3 seconds to spare. Kane Halliburton moves to 2nd, but still it's short of Pablo Lopez's first lap time, which wasn't improved upon. And Halliburton has to settle for 2nd best. And here is the grid. Pablo Lopez on pole position. Kane Halliburton in 2nd place. Then it's Kike Ming, Irind Baba, Nicola Sorini, Yone Kainen, Andreas Friedrich, Ant Castles, Chris Cash, Peter Verlind, Cedric Kolchik, and then behind that was Thomas Torp, Anton Vetruodev, Cristiano Cicerone, Arturus Kundelis, Gart Hofferer, then it's Robert Woodward, Jesus Bermage, John McHutchinson, Alex Ellis, Matt Cox, Adrius Valentijas, and Ruben Rodriguez. And apologies for the pronunciation once again. I thought I'd nailed it first week, but we've got a lot of new drivers back onto the grid, and so I'm going to have to learn a whole host of them. once again. Mark, going into this race, how do you assess Lopez's chances? Do you think he could maybe make a break for it as some of the Jazz are revving up? I think we are ready to go. But yeah, how do you assess Lopez's chances? Do you think he's got an opportunity to break away, or is this just going to come down to the final couple of laps?
I think from experience myself, it's going to come down to the last lap, and it's going to be a train from start to finish for the first few positions. Excited to see this one, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it could be an absolute classic, this one. Lopez still hanging on, and we do sometimes see this from the more confident drivers to leave it on the grid, but he does join with 9 seconds to spare. And the lights are about to come on for this week 2 of the Radical Racing Challenge. The green flag is out, and Lopez moves away from the order. Brilliant start for Friedrich from the 4th row of the grid, straight away up into 5th position. Has a good line into turn 1. There's Lopez holding off Halliburton, who dips into the draft. He's not going to be able to go for a move into Eau Rouge. In fact, he just tries to lose a little bit of speed and then potentially get the run up through Eau Rouge. Gradually up, get the move done into Lake Blue. Also good start from Peter Verlind to move it up a couple of paces. Trudev as well, up a couple of places so far. But it's the fight at the front that we need to be concentrating on, as Halliburton pushes himself into the lead, just about ahead. Barber trying to get involved. He's not really got anywhere to go, and there could be contact behind, because that's an ambitious move from one of the drivers. Not quite sure who that was, but they managed to escape contact. Still, Halliburton had to hold off Lopez, who kept in it through Lake, but they do get through and then into this next part of the circuit. Again, a very aggressive move from Peter Verlind, I think it was, in the white car. He went for 2 very aggressive moves into Lake and then down the hill. He's got away with both of them. He's getting a couple of places out of it. It's 3 wide further back into Puon, and surely that can't end too well for these drivers. Here the track extending lead. The 1x on this open lap, if it does reward you with a little bit of track position, whilst the drivers at the front start to get into single file, these guys in the back are still fighting to the left. Thomas Torp just about finding himself in the middle there, trying to get single file. There's going to be contact behind. There is Soboni and Woodward round, and they're going to have to come back a long way. They've lost the draft. Any aerodynamics will around this circuit, that's going to really hurt you as well. So bad news for those drivers. We can see it's a sea of orange all the way down the timing tower, which really indicates that everyone should be able to stick close to one another. These are experienced drivers as well. They're not going to waste too much time battling with one another. Certainly not the front runners going for the podium places, but the back of the top. Just ahead of him is Vetrudev and Hassel's battling him. This is actually done 3 places from his side. Fantastic drive from the Englishman up to this point. I wonder if we could just go back to the leaders again. In fact, that place would be pretty good. Friedrich, half a second behind Meg, you'll be getting a draft, but they'll all be drafting up to Halliburton. He's looking like a little bit of a sitting duck as we start this second lap. Up the Kemmel Strip we go again. And Lopez moving ahead. I don't think Halliburton is going to be able to respond at all, and already slotting in behind. That's just showing the power of the draft. Another aggressive move here from Verlind. He's not making any friends, he won't be getting any late Christmas cards, certainly. But he's made 3 pretty stern moves so far, and it's moved him up the order. He's lost the draft slightly to King ahead, and that's still positive for Verlind. He's up to position now. Yeah, pretty strong for him, but he really needs to get out on the pedal now. Mark, if he's going to stay with those top 1%, the gap is up to 8 tenths. Once again with him just following Hassel's up, potentially a little bit of turbulent air as well down this middle parts of the circuit. Still being able to stay very close to one another. Still no gaps more than 1 second being formed for the top 19 drivers out on track at the moment. These guys starting to really concentrate on one another, despite the fact that this is a slightly lower battle speed, are still very high iRacing drivers. You can see Valentinius, who didn't set a qualifying time, already up into 15th place. He's just trying to recover iRacing. He could get a decent amount of points from this one, maybe a top 5, maybe a top 6 if he can really get on with it. He's just going to be slingshotting himself from one car to the next. He's going to have to go the long way round today into this next corner as you see a little bit of fighting just ahead. Torp and Gunderlis battling with one another, and that's just Torp getting ahead and Valentinius just almost losing a position. Previously, it looked like he was storming up the order, so he stays in 15th place. Has another look down the inside though, does Valentinius. Yeah, he's trying to really concentrate on what's behind him, but Hutchinson is very slow driver himself, really playing under a lot of pressure. Interestingly, at the front, Lopez staying ahead of Halliburton on this time round. This time, the Kerbal Straight not quite strong enough in order to change the order around. As I say, that Halliburton does get the chart and does move ahead going into Lake Cube. Also, Verlind up into 4th position. Car number 10. Very much one driver who I didn't think was going to be particularly impressive. He's now up 6 places, is Verlind, up into 4th place. Also, Savini just running a little bit wide, although he's got away with that. He just moves up into 14th place. But there is Verlind. So far, he has been absolutely phenomenal out on circuit. Could well be a danger to the front drivers. There's a few more off-checks being picked up by drivers going through no-name corner. We'll just be picking up the 1Xs for them. Of course, yes, 17 instances do get a penalty, which would send you right to the back in this very compact field. Halliburton almost getting a little bit of a break here. Gap up to 0.6 of a second. It's very difficult to tell who is the fastest driver at the moment, but Halliburton looking confident at least in this middle part of the sector. And Lopez is going to have to rely on the chart. We'll see where we get back in touch. It's Berlin getting that gap down to less than half a second to Barber just ahead. It really could go to anyone out of the top 8 at the moment. Cash a little bit behind in 9th place, back where he started. It's Chris Cash doing alright in that 9th place, just a little bit detached from the others, as we saw Friedrich trying to get past Kike Ming. Qualified well, of course, did Ming. Up there in 3rd place, occupied 2nd place until the closing stages, and Halliburton put in that very strong time to go up into the up into the 1st row of the grid. He is at there, just dropping down. Had a good chicane, however. Does get slightly closer. Halliburton, that gap has diminished again, and this is really what we hoped it would be. Valentinius, Kundalis, and Torp, though, all with off, so they got away with it. They just went wide at the source, taking the Raikkonen 08 line, I think, and just check extending slightly. But they got away with that one. Lopez moves up, as we see Barber all of a sudden getting very aggressive. So far the driver in the shadows up to this point, but now he is on stage and he's moving up into the lead of this race. And that was a very nice start, and that really does show how even 3rd place moving on to the final lap of the race could be a profitable position. All this battling though means that the top 8 are as close as they've been since the very launch of this race, and even Cash and Kolchich as well getting involved in this one. So really 10 drivers, and of course if Valentinius get on with it as the highest high-rated driver out on circuit, he could be very dangerous as well. So it is early stages in this race. Lap 4 out of 11. These races do go by pretty quick, but there's sure going to be a lot of action crammed in there. As you see Kynan currently battling with these drivers. Of course, it was Lopez who did particularly well last week out of these front runners, managing to finish in 3rd position, I believe. Halliburton looks strong but finishing 4th, as Vetradev has gone off the circuit. He was having a particularly good race with Vetradev, up in 11th place. He's got back going again, albeit with plenty of places lost. That is a big shame for him. Also, Sassaroni having a problem. The action's so close up ahead, we can, as actually, it looks as though Berlin was maybe going on another move with Halliburton. And if you didn't see the start of this race, Berlin went for a couple of mighty moves into Lake Coombe, and then down the hill a couple of corners later as well. And he's pulled off another daring move into the chicane. He's up into third position. Frederick and Ming also battling with one. And now that's just held off Halliburton for a moment. That's Ming just having to hold back Friedrich at the moment, who is up one place from his start. Also, Hutchinson, this is the gap, that's 14th place. It felt like we only went back a couple of seconds, and that is the gap at the moment. But Hutchinson battling with Castles and Kundlis. Valentine just not getting away from these drivers yet, as Lopez retakes the lead at the front of it. That was very much to expect. We have seen a change of position down the comes straight every lap so far in this race. Look at Hutchinson with a fantastic turn of speed. And he is going to be able to get past Castles right there. So that was a nice move. Kundlis can get past Vantage at the front of this pack. And will very much in the peloton right now, trying to drag these guys up to that leading pack. I think they might just be a little bit short. Vantage is using one of his 1Xs. You've got to use them strategically out there. They are quite an advantage around this circuit. So if you can take an extra 5 miles an hour through no-name corner, then absolutely do it. But make sure that when you do pick up those 1Xs, that you're taking full advantage of the track extension. That's what Vantage is trying to do. Keep an eye on that gap between him and Krolchik to see if that is coming down. Certainly the middle sector is coming down, as you would expect. You potentially might lose a bit when they get onto the straights. Verlind is looking like a man on a mission right now. There's absolutely no stopping him, but he's got to be careful now of Halliburton. Batsing just opened up the gap to Barber to about half a second, so the toe isn't quite as strong as it once was. But he is being able to drag himself back up to the rear, and they all are very close to one another again. I mean, from what you've seen so far, Mark, do you think anyone out of this leading pack looks particularly stronger than anyone else? Do you think there's a Joe who's perhaps got a bit more pace than someone else?
I think it's a bit hard to tell, Sam. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of tactics going along and people not showing their full hand. I think we'll see people holding back for the last lap and trying to get that slipstream and overtake at the very last second. So we'll just have to see how this one pans out. But yeah, Lopez is certainly looking strong at the front, but there's a few guys behind him that are mighty quick too.
Yeah, sure is. It looks like we're going to see another change. Here comes Verlind. The long way round, this could end in disaster. Here Verlind turns in, has to turn out. But he's up into second place. There's Barber back up into the first place. Lopez drops down to third. And remember, Halliburton led for a couple of laps. He's currently running in fourth. But it has been those top four at the front for a little while. They have been able to protect themselves from the others, as Rodriguez and Torp battling with runner. Torp just getting ahead of Ellis, who's done quite a bit of damage as well. From your experience in this car, Mark, would that damage to the back of the car, just that slight body work damage, will that affect you too much down the straights, or will it be quite negligible for Thomas Torp?
The level that we're seeing on Torp's car right now, it's fairly minimal. You might lose a kilometre or two along the straight, but not too much. But certainly, if that gets any worse, then he'll be a sitting duck.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got that from a tap from the rear. I can only imagine he wouldn't hit a wall anywhere, albeit these cars are quite sensitive to hitting one of the sausage curbs around this circuit. As Baba up into 0.4 of a second, but it's in that second half of the straight, isn't it? Just through the kink, and being able to really gain a lot of time after that one. Verlind versus Lopez. Lopez trying to get back that position. That's interesting how aggressive Lopez was, and backs out of it now, I think, just asking Verlind to get back onto the racing line just in case they can catch up to Barber, although actually there's Lopez staying in there. So far Lopez has been possibly the most cautious out of these drivers, Verlind the most aggressive. And now they're costing each other a little bit of time. Verlind with a slightly tighter line through Eau Rouge, but you should still be able to get easy flat out there. And you can just see that gap visibly for yourself, and on the timing tower on the left, just how that lead is eaten away so quickly. Here comes Lopez, long way round, Berlin might even take the lead here. Barber has to go defensive, and there goes Lopez round the outside, and he has got second place. And look at the daring move there from Halliburton to back up into third place. As Kike Meng runs wide, does well to keep control of the car. As the top 4 now make a little bit of a break for it, top 5 even, because Meng is still having to hold back Kynan here. And Friedrich opens that gap up to a second, which could be quite important. Meng holding on, but now he spins round and into the wall for Kike Meng. Disappointment for the Spanish driver. He's got a lot of damage on that car, and he is going to be out of this race. Kike Meng, who had been running in that 5th place for the entire race, all of a sudden has gone terribly wrong for him. I didn't see contact here. Mark, it seemed like it was by himself.
Yeah, certainly wasn't any obvious sign of contact, but there was a bit of damage on the right-hand rear quarter before he hit the wall, so a bit of an odd one, but possibly just getting on the curb a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's absolute disaster for him, as Serini all of a sudden up into 5th place. Serini back up into 5th place, in fact, but he lost a couple of places near the start. You can see he's the 20th highest high rating driver out there, but he's doing very well for it. Kynan's going to lose another place if he's not careful to Krolcic. Krolcic has done well as well. He was in 9th place before, but Krolcic up into 7th and going for 6th, so plenty of movement here. And you can see Valenti just right onto the back of these cars. Said that he can maybe get a top 5 or top 6. Top 6 certainly looking possible for car number 1 at the moment. Kynan alongside Krolcic. Someone's going to have to back out here. Well, certainly I would advise someone to back out. They're not at the moment. Side by side through Eau Rouge into Radion. Oh, brilliant driving from the pair of them. And in fact, just behind them, almost onto the grass, was Krolcic trying to get out of that one. And again onto the grass. So using all of the circuit and a little bit more as they try to break the draft. You can see an almighty battle behind them, and also an almighty battle happening out in the lead. But Kynan going the long way round at Le Coup. The lesser through the next corner. And Serini being able to break away right now. Kynan up into 7th place, or at least holding on to that 7th place, holding on to as many places as he possibly can. But Friedrich looking very close, he might still have an opportunity at Krolcic. She's gone up 3 places in just the last couple of laps. Halliburton now leads, and look at the gap. I wonder if we get a replay of what happened at Le Coup. Looks as though it was just going to be a standard overtake. That's why we probably didn't go over to see it, because it looked like it was just going to be a normal overtake, and that they were all going to follow in train again. But it's anything but. Halliburton will be able to open up that gap to 1.3 seconds, and whilst that is still just about within draft range, I believe, isn't going to be particularly strong for Valent, who's going to have to put in some very strong times to try to bridge that margin, which has increased. You can see it has gone down, just down this straight to 1.2 seconds, but we'll take a couple of laps to catch up as we have 3 laps to go. Barber trying to go the long way round, and guys, don't lose each other too much time here, because you're losing touch with the leader, and Valent goes wide, and that is a big mistake there for Valent. He was under pressure, locks up the brake, and is down to 4th place. Now Lopez up into 3rd position. Krolcic still under pressure from Kynan and Friedrich in 6th, 7th and 8th positions at the moment, but it has largely spread out. Barber now 1.2 seconds behind the race leader, but he is gaining in that draft, already down to 1.1 seconds, maybe down to about 0.8 of a second by the time they get into Le Coup, as we see on board with Erin Barber. Yeah, that gap dropping by about 0.3 of a second. That is the strength of this draft. I thought they made it a little bit weaker since the last time I raced in these cars, but anything but. And after Silverstone, where it was very tricky to overtake, this circuit, it is remarkably easy to overtake, and Barber should be able to catch up by the end of the race. So we might actually get a replay of this mistake there here from Valenti. To be fair, his rival puts him off a little bit there, Mark, but just forced the error there from Valenti was just too obsessed with Barber trying to go through.
Yeah, he was really unlucky there. Obviously, he was trying his best to defend, but sometimes it's better to just accept the position and not lose the time. But yeah, he's still in the fight, so we'll have to see whether he can get back onto the back of Lopez.
Yeah, up to 1.3 now to Lopez. Certainly, if Lopez starts battling with Barber, he'll be able to get with him. Halliburton extending the gap by 0.3 over Barber through the middle sector, but then Barber seems to gain about 0.3 in each of the first sector and the third sector, so it was a net gain. As Lopez moves up into second position, he feels like he's more likely to catch up to Halliburton as a good Hoferer. I'm thinking Federer. How do I pronounce Federer? It seems so easy when it's Federer. No, Hoferer up into 14th place. Apologies again for the pronunciation. Good. Of course, if you want to correct us on the pronunciation, or myself most likely, Mark's probably slightly better at the continental names, certainly do join us for a post-race interview, and there is a link in the description below to our Apex Racing TV Discord, and if you go to that, then you can jump into the interview waiting area for tonight with all the action on Apex Racing TV. You can jump into that and you can have a chat with us no matter where you finish, whether you were first or 20th. We love to have a chat with you guys, especially seeing that we're relatively new broadcasting the series, albeit both me and Mark have got experience driving this car in the iRacing world. Vetra Deb going alongside Rodriguez here. That is Rodriguez just having to back out there. And he's actually going to be overtaken. This is where time can be lost. Cash, who's had a miserable few corners, hasn't he? Cash running as high as 8th place earlier on in this race, despite a few issues going on around him. Hasn't really been able to profit from that. He's down into 13th place, but so many of these drivers have got damaged. And I haven't seen a whole lot of contact. I can only imagine they're just being a little bit too liberal with the curbs. Picking up a bit of air damage, and this does seem to be costing them a little bit bad, but just got a lap and a half to survive. Rodriguez and Barber both going off the circuit, trying to catch up to the leader. Halliburton still with a 1 second advantage as they're about to take the white flag. Krolchik trying to get back on terms with Serini and Kainen. Kainen's done well to... apologies, no, Serini's pulled away, hasn't he? It's Kainen just ahead of Krolchik at the moment. As they are trying to move through. But yeah, all very close between these drivers as we do move on to the white flag. Hutchinson just getting ahead of Friedrich in the background, but Friedrich getting back up into 8th position. But Halliburton with a 0.6 of a second lead at the moment. Is that enough going through a region radio? It might not be enough. It might be that Lopez is able to get alongside, and you know what? Just gaining by that amount of margin through going into Eau Rouge, and he's going to have a great chance here, Lopez, who was 0.8 of a second behind just a couple of sectors ago. But here he goes for the race lead. He darts to the inside, and when it counts, Pablo Lopez takes the lead of this race. But there goes Halliburton around the outside. He's going to bring it back. Lopez, though, with the better line through Malmedy, and he is able to move back ahead. Halliburton with a better launch, though, from the corner. He's not able to get completely clear. Barber wants to win this race. He doesn't want to finish, then he may as well go for it himself at this point. There's still plenty more chances, but it is Halliburton who holds off the first attack using all of the space. Didn't realize this was a street circuit. You're not going to see No Name Corner a whole lot of the time in the future when the new track modifications are made. But that was some lovely join there from Halliburton to use up one of the 1Xs, but he hasn't been able to break the draft by any means. and it's going to come down to the final chicane. We knew it was going to come down to the final lap, not necessarily the final chicane. Lopez just staying as tight as he can. Halliburton, who looks so strong at Silverstone, couldn't use it to his advantage. However, stuck in 4th position for pretty much the entire race, couldn't overtake, being able to overtake in this race at least. But it is Halliburton, Lopez and Barber going into the final few corners. It's Blanchimont coming up as Lopez is all over the back bumper. He has to go to the outside. He moves ahead now, does Pablo Lopez. How much space will Halliburton leave? Pablo can't get involved. Here comes Lopez around the outside, and Halliburton's almost lost it. And it will be Pablo Lopez on the final corner who takes the win at Spa. Brilliant drive from Lopez. He made up over a second in those final couple of laps to get him back onto terms. Halliburton with a valiant second place, still very good points. And Barber rounds out the podium. Berlin can get back on track and ends up in 4th place. And from and Venture finishing in 11th place. Where did our car number 1 finish up? Valentija down in 20th place. He had issues. But what a wow! Oh dear, we've got a car on his roof. Is that Cash? On his roof, it is. I'll also replay of that one. But Mark, what a race that was. Lopez, I thought he may have just been out of it, but that draft got him back into play. Halliburton defended all he could, but Lopez was just too good to that final corner.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fantastic race. Really enjoyed watching that, and as suspected at the beginning, it all just came down to that final lap, and it's a shame that Halliburton sort of had that tiny bit of contact, which just sort of sent him into a half spin. But yeah, just fantastic racing and really clean as well, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, it certainly was, wasn't it? Barely any contact from certainly the front guys. I didn't see a whole lot for the guys further back either. Here was the Cash incident. How's he got on his roof here? Oh no, that's a ramp. Are they the teammates? So they've got very similar liveries, me at least. But on the roof, Cesaroni moves ahead. Cash loses quite a bit of iRacing. Car number 8. Going into this race, finishes in 19th place. So shame for Chris Cash as we can go through the final order. Pablo Lopez wins out, then Halliburton in 2nd place, and Aaron Barber in 3rd place. It was looking like it could be a 10-car battle. In the end, it was just those 3 because Peter Verlin got involved in an instant. Didn't quite have the pace well to come back, but Verlin made a very entertaining race. Go back to to lap 1 after we've done the interviews and such, because Verlin was absolutely dive bombing everyone at every point, but it worked due to the other driver's sincerity. Nicola Sorini finished in 5th position. Then it was Cedric Volcic. Yone Kainen was in 7th place. John Mark Hutchinson in 8th. There's Andres Friedrich and Alex Ellis rounding out the top 10. Then it was Anton Vetrudev, Ruben Rodriguez, Gart Hofferer, Thomas Torp, Ant Castles, Robert Woodward, Jesus Bermejo, Cristiano Cesaroni, Chris Cash, Audrius Valentijas, Arturus Kundalis, Kike Ming, and Matt Hawks, rounding up the top 23 drivers. That was it. You can see we had a few retirees, but most drivers finishing on the lead lap. So great job from the guys out there, and great job for me. I'm going to blow my own trumpet because I pronounce those names much better post-race than I did on grid, which is good. Do we have any interviews? We don't. So, of course, if anyone is watching this back as a driver, if you're watching this live, quickly jump in. I want to have a chat with you. We've got a few more minutes on the broadcast yet, so you jump in wherever you finished, so we can have a chat with you. And if you're watching this on replay, then can have a chat with us next week. Perhaps just join our Discord server in the description below, Apex Racing TV, and then you can jump into the interview waiting area. We'll drag you up and can have a chat with you, which would be very good. But so far this season, Mark, we've seen plenty of different drivers take the grid. Unfortunately, some of the top drivers from Silverstone didn't take to the grid tonight, and same both ways. But Pablo Lopez and Kane Halliburton already with a couple of top positions. I think they've got to be the favourites for the championship at the moment because they've really shown very good pace, but also really good maturity and racecraft so far this season, and it's probably going to give them quite a big championship lead going into week 3 of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see when we go back to the Friday slot whether the other drivers that we saw in round one return, and whether we see any of the races from tonight sort of join them. But yeah, they're definitely two of the sort of main contenders for sort of taking this one this season.
Yeah, next up we've got Interlagos coming up. Another 17 laps around that circuit. And I think I'm just trying to think when I did that the radical championship for BSR a couple of years ago. I feel like we did race around there. Yeah, I think we did. But that is a going to be a challenging circuit for the drivers. But once again, a massive draft effect down into turn one. Um, from kind of your experience, is there a little bit of turbulent air? Do you think there's going to be a bit of turbulent air to kind of do that middle sector? Because you see it in other disciplines how it's so tricky to follow through those kind of medium speed corners with that aerodynamic downforce. Do you think that's going to be too much of an issue for the drivers, or do you think we're going to see more pack racing just as we saw today?
I don't think there is a good level of downforce on these cars, but it's not as much as say in Formula One or top level single seater racing. So I think they will be able to follow fairly closely without too much of a aero um, unbalance. But there'll be a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, it'll certainly be great to see. Because yeah, I think you're right. I think everyone will should stay pretty close to one another, and we might see another last lap. Maybe we could see a good run to the line. We don't usually see that at Interlagos too much. I think I've seen drivers run out of fuel on the approach to the line before, but never a straight fight to the finish line. Of course, everyone using the same setup, you can't get an advantage with running a little bit less downforce to get the moves. Everyone is on the exact same setup, so that does really just come down to pure driving talent. Decide who comes out on top. Of course, you can check out who comes out on top next week on Friday. We'll be moving back to the standard time slot, so same time. What time even is it? 21 GMT. 21 GMT. Will be the start time for that one on Friday. And of course, on Apex Racing TV, we are bringing you all of the weeks for this Radical Racing Challenge. Yeah, we'll be bringing you all the racing all the way to week 12 at the Nordschleife to finish off the season. A little bit of a reminder of some of our sponsors for Apex Racing TV, Apex Racing Academy. Big thanks to them. Of course, if you're looking to improve your racing, perhaps not in the Radical, it is a fixed setup car. It's in the official series, but plenty of other cars, of course. Single seaters, prototypes, GTs. Uh, check out Apex Racing Academy. Also, Rallycross cars as well. You can get setups for all of the weeks for the official sales. I've been using the IR01, the Delara IR01 sets recently, and they are very useful. You can also get driving tutorials as well, training sessions with some of the absolute best drivers in the world championship level drivers. So if you're looking to improve your racing, do go to Apex Racing Academy. Also, big thanks to SDK Gaming as well for their support and providing us with this fantastic overlay we have. And of course, if you want pretty much the identical overlay, do check out SDK Gaming. You can also customize it for yourself if you've ever watched any of our other Apex Racing TV broadcasts, certainly like the AOSC Super Series or kind of any others, Victory Tech series as well. You'll notice that we run quite different liveries for quite different overlays for each of the different series because that's the amount of customization you can do on SDK Gaming. It's really good for broadcasting really good for streaming as well. And it's also a fantastic heads-up display with a fuel calculator and all of that stuff. Yeah, much more reflective relative screen. It's a fantastic heads-up display for when you're racing. So certainly do check out SDK Gaming. We have an interview with one of our drivers, which is nice to see. We have got our third place driver, albeit it could have been, it very nearly was, even more than that. We've got Erin Barber in the commentary box at the moment. Congratulations, Erin,
Hi guys.
on that
Hi.
third
Hi.
place. But
Thank you.
it must have been a little bit frustrating at the line because whilst Lopez and Halliburton were battling in front of you, just couldn't quite get involved. The circuit quite wide enough.
Yeah, I know Kane and Pablo, they are both very fast, but on Spa you have to rely on the draft a lot. So being first doesn't mean always you're gonna win the race. I was being patient, I was planning my move, but the problem is with this car, you have to be very, very, very careful, otherwise you ruin the race for everybody. But I was behind Pablo and I thought, okay, I will plan my move now. But the problem is if you fight a lot with P2, the P1 gets away. So I didn't want Kane to get away. And this is my first time on the stream, so I tried to keep it clean as possible for the guys. For me, it doesn't matter P1 or P3. Just if we have a good race, if everybody enjoys the race, I'm happy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it certainly was very enjoyable from where we were sitting. Out there, you of course battled with the top two with Pablo Kane. We also saw Peter Verlind as well really get involved in that one. He seemed pretty aggressive out there. I mean,
He's
how was it racing with those guys?
it's always difficult. I've raced Spa with Kane 2 days before or yesterday, I don't remember, and I know he's very, very, very tactical. So he plans his move, especially on Spa where you rely on draft. And in the last lap, I know you can lead, but yeah, the last lap it's all about making the right moves. And Peter, I know, is a friend of mine, so I knew he was not gonna do something stupid. He's a good driver. He has a radical in real life, so he drives it on Spa and on the Nordschleife, so I know he knows how to drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Going through to the next few weeks. I mean, can we expect to see you over the rest of the season?
Yes, of course. I did the last season with the radical. With the championship, unfortunately, I was not on P1. My friend Luke was P1 because I race a lot. I had the most wins with the radicals, but yeah, I like this car and I like this series, and I will do my best to be here every week. I enjoy racing with these guys. They're really awesome. Everybody in the radical community so far, it's been very, very, very awesome. So for sure, I'll come back.
Absolutely, and if you're fighting for the title, I mean, would you say there's a particular favourites at the moment from the drivers at the moment? Who do you think has got the best chance at lifting that trophy?
I've seen some guys be really, really fast. I don't want to brag, but in most tracks, I'm fast too. I don't know. I've seen so many good drivers. Pablo, of course, Kane, Adrius, Joan. Everybody has. I think everybody of this, if they have a good day, everybody has a potential to win the race. So I think it's going to be really, really tough in the end, at the end of the season, because we are with a group of really good drivers. Some of these guys, they really know how to drive this car.
Yeah, definitely. The drones sound absolutely insane out on track. Big thanks for having a chat with us. And is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to all the regular guys in the radical community. I enjoy racing with them every day. They know how to fight. They've been all these guys have been nice to me. I'm sorry if I punted somebody, but this car is really you have to be aggressive sometimes, but it pays. If it pays out, okay, you win. If it doesn't pay out, then you have a small crash or something. But that's racing, stuff happens. But we close that, and the next day we race another day.
Yeah, sure, D.
Shout out to you guys for organizing this, and to Sean, of course, because I know he put a lot of effort to do this. I have the pleasure of being in the Discord channel with these guys. I know how much work they put in this series, so I will try to do my best and honor that.
Awesome. Massive thanks for having a chat with us. And
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
yeah,
guys.
see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Eric Barber there, finishing in third position tonight. Only 6 tenths off the race win in the end, but had to settle for third best. Certainly going to be a contender for race wins in the future. No more interviews, I think, from the drivers. So once again, just a reminder, come have a chat with us, because we always have a slot for interviews in after the race, and we'd love to have a chat some of you guys. As long as you get into as long as you get into the top split, jump in. Whether you finish first or last, would really like to have a talk with you guys. Of course, we're entering 2021 very soon. Even during this festive period, we've been able to keep up plenty of broadcasts on Apex Racing TV. I think there's a couple of broadcasts going on simultaneously to us. I see the other commentary boxes in use. So check out those streams if you want. I think the IGP Fun is currently streaming on Apex Racing TV. And we've got loads more series as well. We've got 7 ARL leagues getting up and running in the new year. So sign up to or subscribe to Apex Racing TV, and you can check out all of those streams. I'll pop up, and also leave a like on this video as well, because then the next few Radical races will be recommended to you as well. So big thanks for tuning in. Big thanks to any of the drivers who are watching back for making this a very entertaining race. And we will see you back at Interlagos next time. So for me, Sam Patrick, and from Mark Tranter, we are going to say goodbye. It is Lopez with race 2 of the season who will take the spoils at Interlagos. We'll see you on Friday.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala,
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Cronkey,
Martin Cronkey becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.